Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I am going to be telling you one good thing and one bad thing about your NBA team. Now, these are opinion based, so I'd love to see you guys in the comments and see if you guys agree. I'll also do other sports if you want me to do it. But in today's video, like I said, after the Los Angeles Lakers won the NBA championship the other day, I thought, why not get this started? One good thing and one bad thing. There could be a few bad things, could be a few good things that you need to hear about your NBA team. As we lead into NBA free agency, I thought this would be a good thing to do, just considering the Lakers and LeBron James just won the NBA title. I want to see you guys in the comment section down below. I want to see if you guys actually agree with me with some of the things that I'll be saying in today's video. Like I said, we'll be doing other sports, but the good and the bad, here they are from all 30 NBA teams. Get in the comment section. Let's get some opinions going. Let's get straight into it. So we're going to start with the 15th out in the West, and that is the Golden State Warriors. The good thing about the Warriors, they will be getting Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry back for this season. They also have the number 2 pick in the draft, which they could do a lot with that. The bad thing is the Golden State Warriors do not have a center, and also the injury cloud over the Dubs returning stars. So the 15th out in the East with the Cleveland Cavaliers, they actually have some pretty good assets. I mean, they got to build around Colin Sexton, Garland. They actually can still move Kevin Love on if they need to and create some cap space. But the bad thing is their defense is horrific. Historically, it's actually one of the worst. They need to find a defensive gem with the 5th pick in this year's draft. A few good players in this year's draft, so I'm sure they can bounce back and get a good player who can play some defense in this year's draft. We swing back over to the West, the Minnesota Timberwolves, who finished 14th. A good thing is they actually have the number 1 pick in this year's draft, and they've got a lot of options to build around their young core in Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell. The bad thing you guys need to hear is they need to fix their defense. Karl Anthony Towns is a big liability on that end. And if that doesn't pick up, it doesn't matter how many points they score on the offensive end. If they can't play D, it's all for nothing. The Minnesota Timberwolves. The Atlanta Hawks. So the Atlanta Hawks, they have a great young core to build around. They've got some movable assets. They picked up Clint Capella, a really nice center. But the bad thing is they need a secondary shot creator alongside Trae Young. Trae Young is a superstar. He's going on to be a potential star, one of the best maybe point guards in the league in the next few years. But if they don't get a shot creator alongside Trae Young, he could be burnt out and teams could stop him very easily. The New Orleans Pelicans. So the New Orleans Pelicans, they did have Zion Williamson. So the good thing is they've got Zion Williamson, Lonzo Ball. They have a really good young core. Brandon Ingram is going to be a superstar in this league. If they can get it together, they have the potential to basically run the league in the next, I would say, 3 to 4 years. The bad thing is, can they make it work with all the basically all the young, good players they have on that team? They couldn't get it going this year, and also, can Zion Williamson stay healthy? The bad thing is, he probably won't be healthy. I mean, that's probably where we're at the minute. He needs to stay healthy. If he doesn't stay healthy, I don't see that New Orleans team advancing any further than they did this year. The Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons do have a pretty good feast in Christian Wood going forward. I reckon he's an underrated piece, assuming they re-sign him. We don't really know what's going on there. Detroit, I mean, they do have a low draft pick in the draft, so that's definitely a good thing. But the bad thing is Blake Griffin's trade value is all gone. I mean, he's got a massive contract. He's barely on the court. What team in the league is going to take that contract on, knowing that Blake Griffin has barely seen the court in the last few years? The Sacramento Kings, also, the good thing, have a really, really good young core in Fox. They actually were improving a lot this season. They played really good in the bubble, and I think that Fox has the potential to lead that Sacramento Kings team to the playoffs. I think it's been like 10 or 12 years since they've been there. The bad thing is, they haven't been able to bring it together in the last few years. Luke Walton signing on there, benching Buddy Hield. I just don't think the Kings are good enough, and I feel like something has to happen there, like a major blow up. They've got also a lot of expiring contracts in this free agency period, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. Harrison Barnes, I mean, he is getting paid a lot of money just to drop 12 points. What will they do with him? Will they move him? Will they move him on, or do you think that Harrison Barnes will stay? The Sacramento Kings. The New York Knicks are seen as one of the most decorated franchises in history. That is one of the good things. I mean, if you're a New York Knicks fan, you get to play at Madison Square Garden. I'm reaching a bit here. But the bad thing, the New York Knicks have just been hot garbage probably for the last like 4 to 5 years. So I'm sorry if that hurts to hear, but the New York Knicks have just been absolutely terrible, and they are no longer a destination basketball team to go to. A lot of free agents are not ending up there. Kevin Durant, Zion Williamson, Kyrie Irving, all players who did basically, other than Zion Williamson, did not choose to go to the New York Knicks. Good thing about the Spurs have arguably the greatest coach of all time, Greg Popovich. Greg Popovich always makes that San Antonio Spurs team a competitive team. They're always pushing for the playoffs. They only just missed the playoffs this year, and I'm sure they will return. The bad thing is that team is not going to win a championship with the players they have. LaMarcus Aldridge is getting extremely old. Patty Mills is getting old. I mean, they've got some young, good players, but I don't see that team winning a championship in the next 5 years. We move on to the Chicago Bulls. Colby White, I mean, that's the one good thing he showed. Flashes of being a great scoring guard towards the end of the last season, and he has the potential to have a real breakout year this season. The cons, I mean, the bad for the Chicago Bulls. Injuries have plagued this team. They need to work on keeping their players available, and I mean, their coaches are going in and out. They just fired their head coach. It'll be interesting to see what they do, but I think a few more years at the bottom of the Eastern Conference for the Chicago Bulls before we see them rise up the standings. The Phoenix Suns were the hot team of the NBA bubble. You could argue they're probably one of the best teams beside the Los Angeles Lakers and the Trailblazers. They also have Devin Booker. Devin Booker is a bona fide star in this league, and if they can follow on their good form from the NBA bubble, they will make the playoffs. The bad thing is, I don't see that Phoenix Suns team making the playoffs next season unless they add another scorer, I think that team needs to go out for a point guard to help Devin Booker. Get the ball out of his hand, another shot-creating point guard. Maybe they trade up to get LaMelo Ball, but that team will not make the playoffs with that current team they have right now. The Charlotte Hornets, they do own the 3rd pick in this year's draft, which is great, and they could actually draft a potential superstar in James Wiseman, LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards if they get the chance. Devontae Graham is also coming on and has the potential to be a superstar in this league. The bad thing is, though, that you guys need to hear is it's not a destination team, and players that normally go to Charlotte don't really end up staying in Charlotte. For example, Kemba Walker. If they can turn that into a better place to play, I'm sure that Charlotte Hornets team can rise up the standings. We move on to the Memphis Grizzlies, and the good thing about them, they have a potential future, I'd say, best point guard in the league, Ja Morant. They got Jackson. They have a real good young core, and they just showed this season small glimpses of what they could produce in the next coming years. They get another scorer, they get another good pick. I feel like the Memphis Grizzlies could definitely challenge and could be right up there. The bad thing is they're extremely young. They haven't really got experience. They missed out on playing in the playoffs this year. I mean, playing in the playoffs provides a lot of experience, and maybe the fact that they don't have enough experience, they won't know how to win. They need to get some vets in there to help Ja Morant, but I don't see this Memphis Grizzlies team really going far unless they get some more help for Ja Morant and Jackson. The good thing for the Washington Wizards, we're going to see the return of John Wall. John Wall and Bradley Beal are a dangerous tandem in this league. If they can stay healthy, they will be extremely dangerous. Bradley Beal had a breakout season, should have been an all-star. Now the addition of John Wall is going to help. The bad thing is with the Wizards is health. Can Bradley Beal and can John Wall stay healthy? I don't think John Wall can. He hasn't really played a lot of basketball, and I just don't see that team competing for a championship in the next 5 years. The Portland Trailblazers. Now, the Portland Trailblazers, they have Damian Lillard. Top 2 point guard in the league behind Steph Curry. No bias there. He is an absolute dog. He dominated the bubble when he had the chance. Just ran out of gas. But Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, they are extremely dangerous as well, just like John Wall and Bradley Beal. They are buckets every single night, and if they heat up, anything is possible. But the bad thing is, I don't think they've got enough to beat and really advance. I mean, they got swept by Golden State in the Western Conference Finals last season. They were beaten by the Lakers this year. They only just snuck into the playoffs. I feel like they still need to add another scorer. Potentially a trade with CJ McCollum could really push them over the hump. The Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic are an interesting team. They are always thereabouts, which is really good. They're a consistent team. If you want them to get in the playoffs, they're going to finish around 7 to 8. And the rise of Aaron Gordon has been very good. Michael Carter-Williams also had a pretty good season. Not the best season, but I mean, he definitely had his best season probably in the NBA since his Rookie of the Year. The bad thing for the Orlando Magic, like I said, they're always there about 7 and 8. They're probably always losing to the number 1 seed. And unless they do something crazy, there's been a lot of rumors that they could trade Aaron Gordon. Unless they do something crazy, I don't see that Orlando Magic team being a threat in the East. The Dallas Mavericks have the best young player in the league. Yes, I said it. The best young player in the league, Luka Doncic. He is a bona fide superstar. Almost took down the Clippers by himself with Kristaps Porzingis missing, I think, 2 games in that series. Hit the game winner. Him and Kristaps Porzingis are extremely dangerous together. And I feel like if they can get a superstar, they will compete for an NBA championship. And that brings me into my bad thing about them. They will not win a championship with just them 2 players. They still need another superstar. They're not going to be able to compete with the best teams when it matters. They'll be able to steal games, but like I said, unless they can get a third superstar in to help Kristaps and Luka, that Dallas Mavericks team will not be able to take the next step. The Brooklyn Nets. Now, the Brooklyn Nets will be regaining a healthy Kevin Durant and probably a Kyrie Irving. They have the potential to basically launch this Brooklyn Nets team to the top of the East with them too. Kevin Durant is an absolute killer. Can he stay healthy? That's the question. But if they can really get going, that's going to be a scary, scary prospect for the league. The bad thing about this Brooklyn Nets team, they need to keep Joe Harris in the upcoming free agent. He is actually due for a massive paycheck, so it's going to be hard to see if they can keep quality players around Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Also, Kevin Durant may not come back the same, so you got to prepare for that. The Utah Jazz, they got Jingle and Joe. No, I'm just kidding. Donovan Mitchell really took the next step in this NBA playoffs. He had, I think, 2 50-point games, really went at it with Jamal Murray. Last season, it felt like he basically plateaued, didn't really go up or down. But this season, definitely looked like he definitely took the next step, and I feel like they're on the rise. I still think this Utah Jazz team, though, are just a few players away. Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley. Mike Conley shot really poor this season. It's going to be tough to see them beating a Los Angeles Lakers team, a Clippers team. Unless they can get a good power forward, it's going to be hard to see them. They will compete, but I feel like they're just not there. And I don't think they're close to an NBA championship. The Philadelphia 76ers. Now, the Philadelphia 76ers will be regaining Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. They've also got Doc Rivers as a new head coach. Will be extremely interesting to see how they will go. The bad thing is, Ben Simmons is not going to be a superstar in this league if he does not develop a jump shot. Now, people are going to say that he is a superstar, but I'm going to argue and say he isn't. If you can't shoot in the NBA, you are not a superstar. In the playoffs, you get exposed. And it showed in the last few NBA seasons. The OKC Thunder definitely shocked the world this season. The good thing about them, they have a vast array of draft picks coming up the next few years. Due to that Paul George trade, the Clippers and the OKC Thunder, the OKC are looking extremely good for the future. And also, they made the playoffs this year. The bad thing is, they overachieved. That OKC Thunder team should not have made the playoffs. That is the truth. CP3 will probably be gone this offseason, maybe mid next year. OKC will have their time down at the bottom of the NBA standings. Also, a good thing about them is Shai. He is an absolute jet. The Miami Heat. So the Miami Heat were the runners-up this season. The good thing about them is Jimmy Butler is someone basically every team needs. Every team needs a Jimmy Butler. He gives his absolute everything when it matters most. He demands the best out of his teammates. And after making the finals this season, that team has so much more room for improvement. The bad thing is, though, Bam needs to work on his range. During the finals, the Lakers were able to leave him open and clog the driving lane, which basically just allowed the Lakers to not allow Miami to come in and get easy layups. Jimmy Butler's not a shooter. They haven't got the best shooters besides Hero and Robertson. Bam's going to have to improve in order for this Miami Heat team to take the next step, but they are definitely in the right direction. The Houston Rockets. So the Houston Rockets, the good thing is they have arguably probably the best offensive player in the league. Probably the league's ever seen, James Harden. They're always going to be a threat with him on their roster. They're always going to be a consistent team that always pushes for an NBA playoff spot. The bad thing is, Russell Westbrook does not fit with their play style and is horribly inefficient. If they don't get a new coach in to change the play style, Russell Westbrook will be traded out. I don't see Russell Westbrook and James Harden winning a championship anytime soon. The Indiana Pacers will be getting back next season a fit and healthy Victor Oladipo. He did play in the bubble this year. He did play the remainder, I think it was like 30 games, but he just wasn't himself. They will get a fit and healthy Victor Oladipo. They are a hard, gritty team, and I know they will return. The bad thing is, I still think they're a superstar away, and there's also been circulation and rumors that Victor Oladipo could also leave. If he leaves, I don't see how that Indiana Pacers team is going to be a consistent and good team in the league. The Denver Nuggets. Now, the Denver Nuggets shocked the world in making the Western Conference Finals. The good thing about them, they have an exciting young duo between Murray and Jokic, and if you put Michael Porter Jr. in there, they're basically contending straight away. They have a very good young core. They've got a really good bench, and they are extremely tough. The bad thing about them, they need basically to find that steady third option. You've got Michael Porter Jr., you've got Gary Harris, you've got an aging Paul Millsap. Jokic and Murray can't do it all, and if they don't pick up a third option, if Porter Jr. doesn't take the next step, I don't see them making any inroads into that championship race. The Boston Celtics. So the Boston Celtics, as well as the Denver Nuggets, also made the Eastern Conference Finals. They have an elite young core. This is a good thing about them. They've got Kemba, Brown, Tatum, and Gordon Hayward to build around. They will be a contender in the East. And Jason Tatum is close to taking that next step to be a bona fide superstar. I don't think he's there quite yet, but he is on the way. The bad thing about the Boston Celtics you guys need to hear is they really need an upgrade at the center position. Otherwise, they're just going to keep getting exposed in the playoffs like they do every single season. You need a center in the playoffs. I know a lot of teams go small, but if they don't get a center, I don't see that Boston Celtics team being able to get over the hump. The Los Angeles Clippers. Now, the good thing about them is they have Kawhi and PG. They're automatically going to be in contention every year with them two players on the list. Probably the two best two-way players in the league. But the bad thing about them is they've emptied out all of their assets. It's going to be hard for them going forward if they do, if they're not able to sign people in free agency. They basically got rid of all their picks. They need a win now. They have set this roster up to win now. They probably received the biggest choke job in the history of the NBA, losing to the Denver Nuggets in that third round. The next team is the Toronto Raptors, and there is a lot to like about the Raptors. They came off a championship last season. They did have a solid season, and they also played pretty well in the bubble. They've got Spicy P. Kyle Lowry has been absolutely balling. The problem is Kyle Lowry is getting old. There's a few players on that roster who will want to get paid, and I just think with the East getting better and better every single season, it's going to be a lot harder for the Raptors to compete if they can't get a superstar in there. Spicy P has the potential. He did struggle in the playoffs, but there is a lot of upside to the Raptors. The second last team in this countdown is the Milwaukee Bucks. The good thing about them is they have the back-to-back MVP in Giannis Antetokounmpo, who took his game to a whole new level this season. I feel like if the bubble wasn't a thing, Milwaukee probably would have made the NBA Finals. The bad thing is, Giannis doesn't have a jump shot, and he's getting exposed in the playoffs. If he doesn't get a jump shot, teams just start clogging the paint. It's so much harder for Giannis to score. Middleton shrinks in big moments. They really need to upgrade at that position. I think a CP3 could change it, but like I said, if Giannis doesn't get a jump shot, they are not winning anytime soon. And the final team of the good and bad are the Los Angeles Lakers, the NBA champions for 2019-2020. The good thing about them, they are coming off a championship with two of the best players in the NBA, arguably the GOAT, LeBron James, dismantling the Heat. But the bad thing is that they need some sort of depth to help LeBron going forward. He's getting older with each year, and he needs to save himself for the playoffs. He won't be playing as much as as much as he'd like to in the next coming years. They need some depth off the bench. If Anthony Davis gets injured, I don't know who stands up for them. This offseason is going to be big for the Lakers. It'll be interesting to see what happens. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, the good and bad for every single NBA team. Comment down below if you want to see me do this for AFL. I probably will do it for AFL anyway. It's going to be a lot of fun. But these are my good and bads for every NBA team, every NBA fan they needed to hear. Comment down below what you guys think of the list. I had a lot of fun compiling this. I just want to shout out to Big Macca. He helped me with this and making the list. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to hit the like button. Something different. Like I said, AFL one coming soon. And stay blessed.